Soldiers of Reddit, what are things that the military doesn't provide that would be good for people to send in care packages? Story 1. Whatever you send, please do not pack any soap or detergent in the same box as food. We got some really big boxes that had packages of detergent and lots of candy, and all of the candy tasted like Tide. Story 2. Socks, like black socks for Navy, Marines green or whatever that color is. Ick about the other branches, but holy am in boots all day 7 days a week for 7 to 9 months. Please, for the love of God, send me socks. Also hot sauce and ketchup. We're always out of ketchup and am sick of Texas Pete's. Thank you. Story 3. Condiments such as hot sauce. Food is not always bad, but it's very predictable. Hot sauce makes it much better. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Can't respond to all. Sriracha forever. Story 4. Socks. I used to do a lot of foot patrols in Afghanistan. We never had a way of buying socks, and we sure as rarely got to send anything to be washed. Most of the time we just chucked the socks after patrol from walking in water anyway. Edit. My top comment is about socks, you and your Motrin doc. Story 5. I've seen a few of these on here already, but I will reiterate for the important ones. Beef jerky. Any kind of jerky, honestly. Tuna fish too. Sounds weird, I know. Sometimes that quick shot of salty, greasy fish will keep you going. It comes in single serving bags. Way better in the field than cans. Hot sauce. One of the best care packages I ever had the pleasure of was nothing but 16 bottles of different types of hot sauce one of my buddies got, and we all shared. Not joking. Seeing what was in that box when my buddy opened it is one of the best memories I have of the war. Baby wipes. When I was deployed, I went out on a few extended missions, sometimes for a week or two. I took a shower in the field one time. Things have changed a lot in the last 14 years, but I loved getting DVDs. I don't know what the equivalent would be in 2020, Visine. I discovered this too late for it to have been helpful for me. To this day, I still occasionally have dreams where my mouth and nose and eyes are completely clogged with dry sand, and no amount of me trying to get it out helps. My eyes at least would have loved me discovering Visine long before I did. Magazines. The print kind, not the bullet-holding kind. Anything from smut to housekeeping, it doesn't matter. National Geographic was my favorite, and it ages well. This was specific for me. I just wanted to share it. My girlfriend used to put a small note on anything she sent me, message simple and sweet, and she'd leave a kiss and lipstick on it and spritz it with her perfume. I don't think I ever told her how much that meant to me. But sometimes that really got me through. I still have some of those notes. Edit. Autocorrect tried to change smut into Smith. Not having it. Edit. Enough people have raised questions about Visine that I thought I'd de-edit. I use it, but it sounds like there might be alternatives that are better, and the smut was partially a joke. Maybe if you know the person on the other end, perhaps not just firing smut off haphazardly. Story 6. I turned 40 while deployed and received a care package from my wife that had a fully inflated Mylar balloon, which I thought was pretty nifty and creative. The box had other stuff in it too, so it wasn't suspiciously light, yet when I sliced it open, thank God I didn't slice through to the balloon. Up floated the colorful happy 40th balloon. Made my week. Story 7. My parents sent me a box just absolutely stuffed of snack-sized experimental Taki flavors. Best thing I ever got. Next was a generic note from a third grader named Nigel. Said, I hope you can see your family again. Kinda murdery, but the intent was good. Everyone in the squad got a laugh at it. Thanks for the love. Sure didn't expect that. Also disclaimer. I was only in Norway, which made the note all the more hilarious. Story 8. Female veteran here. Books that aren't about war and killing. We had so many donations of Tom Clancy and ilk. What many of us wanted was a break from that life. Story 9. Beef jerky. One time I got a s'mores kit, coloring book, fake snow, bubbles lol, pumpkin spice related stuff, puzzle books, granola bars and stuff I couldn't get at the store, protein, pictures, decent coffee, candy, hair ties, hygiene related stuff I liked that wasn't there, certain shampoo, body wash, deodorant, different types of trail mix, magazines. I think that's it. I enjoyed it all, and no matter what I got, it was the thought that always counted. Story 10. Gatorade mix. On Navy ships we can get bottles of Gatorade, but it would be better to get Gatorade mix. And if it's there, we can only get a 22 ounces can, not the 5-pound ones that would useful. If you really want to help soldiers or sailors, send 55-pound containers of Gatorade mix to a specific base or ship. I worked in the nuclear spaces on an aircraft carrier, but was assigned to a technical library on the ship when I was not on watch. There were 7 of us in there, and we were drinking almost 3 gallons of water a day just to be able to pee. It was 115 in machinery species and even hotter in some areas of the reactor room. We were one of the few people in the world enduring the heat Gatorade was designed for. So send a lot of Gatorade mix. It means a huge difference in quality of life. Story 11. If any Americans would like to send the Brits a half-decent gun, it would be appreciated. We call our rifle the civil servant. It never works and you can't fire it. Story 12. I know this is oddly specific, but my husband really liked the tactical field playing cards made by Bicycle when he was overseas. He said they held up really well and were basically weatherproof. Sunglasses were supposedly well received too. ETA thought of another one of his favorite things while deployed, Gold Bond. Story 13. Lube in a pocket. In being dead serious. There is never anything to do when deployed. You haven't been laid in months and you're surrounded by guys all the time. Taking a pocket to a shower is sometimes the only thing you have to look forward to for the day. My parents sent me a care package full of cheap toys once. Dart guns, noisemakers, little toy army men, a small etch-a-sketch, etc. We all played with the toys for a day or so and it was entertaining. and afterwards we gave all the toys to local kids who enjoyed the out of them. Saw a kid 3 weeks later who made the Etch-a-Sketch into a weird necklace. Looked a little like a third world version of Flavor Flav. Kinda made me feel like not all is bad in the world. Story 14. My all-time favorite was a church group where each contributor made a blanket representing their home state. I still have that blanket and N01. Not even my girlfriend is allowed to use it. It's draped over the back of my reading chair in the library. It's even been the Nawoobi. Story 15. When I was in, popular stuff was the tuna packs that you can rip open. Cheez-Its were good. You eat plenty, but it always seems like you're always working in a deficit, so sugar, any sweets, was pretty big too. Magazines you can read or interact with are always good. Any kind of jerky or hot sauce is good to have as well. My parents always send hard candy to give out to the kids too. Cliff bars or energy bars seem to do good too. Story 16. Back in Afghanistan, the poo pond, the best care package I received was a carton of cigarettes, baby wipes about a month's worth and protein bars. The worst? Well, let's just say having former members decide that 27 dildos sent to you in a box gift wrapped in graphic leaves all of Kandahar laughing. Story 17. Baby wipes. Beverage powders. We had pallets of bottled water all over the place in Afghanistan. Water is, as you may know, flavorless. Movies, magazines, newspapers, etc. Stuff that's mildly interesting and can help burn that downtime if when it comes around toilet paper. It's amazing how big a difference real-world toilet paper can make in your life. When you're used to wiping your with the equivalent of cardboard, do not send perishables, including anything requiring any sort of temperature control, refrigeration, etc. Chocolate is a big nah. If it's got a shelf life ending this year, don't send it. Anything that requires internet access, for instance. Most video games nowadays are live service. If we had internet downrange, it was slower than 56k dial-up, not exaggerating, and unreliable. Anytime someone died, they shut it all down until next of kin was notified back home. Network dependence is another nah. Alcohol, drugs, etc. People try it all the time. Maybe some vodka in a Listerine bottle or a Gatorade bottle. As for alcohol, it's not allowed, so it will get a lot of people in trouble, and B, we could get it ourselves anyway if we're willing to risk it. But most importantly, I don't want the around me drunk or stoned even when nothing's going on. Anything they'll feel compelled to bring back with them, no matter how small, it's still space and weight that simply cannot be spared. If you send it to stay and be used entirely over there. Weapons. This is not Hollywood. There is no realistic movie out there. Personnel downrange have the weapons and ammo they're legally allowed to use, and it's what Uncle Sugar issued to them. Anything else, even if it is functionally identical to issued gear, is illegal as, not even a knife, no weapons, no non-lethals like pepper spray or stun guns, far more likely to UE on each Othan than on any enemy anyway. Again, this ain't Hollywood. Keep your G.I. Joe wannabe fantasy to yourself. In the real world, that's far more dangerous to friendlies than most any enemy we've faced in my lifetime. One other note: if it's for US Marines, remember to send crayons too. Snack food. Edit. Thanks for the silver, anonymous Redditor. It shall be used only for evil, I promise. Another edit: some folks seem to think it's never not been acceptable for a member of the US Armed Forces to carry a Rambo knife or a machete or a ninja sword downrange. It may be okay in some commands too. I spent 22 years and Uncle Sam ain't released me yet. I never once served in a command that would allow you to carry anything bigger than a pocket knife 3/5 blade or less in uniform under any circumstances. If you've experienced otherwise, then good for you, cupcake. I still say it's idea to send one in a care package. Many of those packages go to a random unit whose policies the sender therefore cannot know in advance, so that's just asking to get someone in trouble. You don't know exactly who will get the samurai sword, and I can tell you there is always, that kid in a unit who will up and lop off a good troop's hand with it, all accidental like. And finally, why is it still within the definition of a care package if it includes weapons? You want G.I. Joe to have big knives and God forbid useful rifles downrange. Right to Congress, but just sending that is a bad idea for more reasons than we have room to discuss here. Story 18. Dip chewing tobacco, smokes, foot body powder, sunflower seeds, Jolly Ranchers, magazines, sunscreen, Gatorade powder flavor liquid for water depending on where they're deployed. ID: avoid sending chocolate. My in-laws sent me a tub of peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's, and by the time it got to me it was a melted block of wax paper, chocolate, and peanut butter. The tobacco items are good even if the service member doesn't smoke or dip because you can use that stuff for trades. We had a tent in our area that was loaded with care package goods. If I received a package that had stuff I didn't plan on using, ID: put the items I didn't need in that tent for someone else who might need them. Edit: Walmart sells cheap headlamps for 99 cents. Those things were awesome. ID: tie them to the top of my bed for a reading light. Story 19. I have a friend that gets deployed a lot and the food out there sucks obviously. His requests are always tuna packs, the different flavored ones that come in the blue plastic packaging, dried fruit, Easy Mac, a set of silverware, homemade cookies, beef jerky, pudding, etc. Basically all the snack foods we take for granted. Edit: to add, double triple wrap everything, and secure the box completely in tape. You would swear the packages are delivered via soccer kicks. Story 20. Maple syrup. The knockoff they have in Kuwait is awful and called maple product, beef jerky, magazine Escomicsnet allowed to have nudie mags in certain countries, hard candies, snacks in general, cigars, wet wipes, hard drives full of movies or preloaded with video games. Our welfare tents have some of this stuff, But there is nothing better than opening a letter from someone saying they are thinking about you and getting spoiled with a bunch of snacks and cigars. Story 21 in military, but not out on the field by any means. From what I have seen though, anything small and pre-packaged, like beef jerky or trail mix, is greatly appreciated, and energy drinks, we live off that, especially the poor bastards maintaining planes and the even poorer bastards out in the field. Edit please nothing carbonated. It'll explode before it gets to them. Story 22 someone sent us 2 rum cakes, wrapped in cellophane, still moist and delicious. That was a golden sunlit moment amid a dreary and painful deployment. Story 23 wet wipes chewing tobacco even if they don't chew. Giving this to people downrange, especially infantry, will make them best friends with everyone around them. A laptop with a portable hard drive full of movies and TV shows. Wet wipes any type of food that won't melt. Cheez-Its, energy drinks. A portable cell phone charger is they are allowed a phone if no phone's allowed. A prepaid phone card. Wet wipes. A spork. A lot of people are saying condiments, but I saw a lot of people getting condiments and it arriving spoiled and broken, spewing all over the place. If sending some, pack them into a separate smaller package inside that package because the package handlers downrange don't give about fragile. Story 24 please don't pack soap or any scented hygiene product with any food items. The food items will absorb the smell. It's hard to enjoy Irish spring cookies. Story 25 one of the best care packages I ever received was a box full of handmade thank you cards from young kids. They were all very sweet but some of them were downright hilarious. Had a good laugh with some of my buddies. I held onto those cards and when I need a bit of inspiration sometimes, I look at the happy scribbles of some random first grader I never met. Story 26 I always appreciated letters. They didn't even have to be from people I knew, just letters from kids or towns or businesses or whatever saying, hey, thanks for the sacrifice, you're in our prayers, or something to that effect. There was not a lot of optimism on my last trip to Afghanistan, so anything with a positive message that pulled you out of the world for a little bit was welcome. Books not about war and the military were a treat, as well. Story 27 not a soldier, but I sent canned pie filling and shortbread cookies together. It's almost a pie for Thanksgiving. All the cans made it and I was told it was well received. Story 28 my husband says nuts, cashews, baby wipes, body spray, Oreos, can cheese, peanut butter, Nutella X5, instant coffee packets, gum, Tylenol 500 milligrams, headphones, razors nicer ones, Q-tips, hot chocolate packets, Tootsie Rolls, hot sauce, drink mixes, fruit snacks. My husband was in a more remote location than some bases. Story 29 it boggles my mind that the US spends more on military than the next 11 nations combined or something like that, and with every war we still need to put together care packages for the troops. Wet wipes, are you serious? For the size of the military budget of the US every soldier, sailor, marine and airman ought to have a personal butler and a luxury condominium, and yet the Pentagon can't even provide our people with cookies and warm socks. Story 31 Red Bull or Monsters 2 dip and cigarettes 3 baby wipes 4 candy. I preferred now and laters. Afghani kids loved them too. I kept a bag in my cargo pocket and hand some out if situation allowed. 5 beef jerky or beef sticks. Edit formatting on phone sucks. Story 31 when I was overseas we got Magic the Gathering card packs and I cherished the out of them. Not to set you up on an expensive care package item, but I was in dark place over there, and something like that brought me back for a solid couple of weeks. Gold Bond friction defense sticks. It's like deodorant for your and prevents chafing or will cure it in a day. Lifesaver. Story 32 Band-Aids we got stuff to stop a bullet wound. But a paper cut and it's game over. Feminine products. Treat Scandi energy drinks but never mix food and soap. The food often absorbs the soap fragrance and tastes terrible. Socks. All toiletries are a big welcome. Tylenol or ibuprofen. Stupid dollar store games. Witty cards sent by you. Oh, if you send treats, Oreos are a big hit. Vacuum sealed cookies too. I've seen the need for baby wipes to cease over time. Man wipes are nice. Story 33 I am a female who just got back from Iraq in May. If it doesn't freak you out, pads and tampons, for some reason, it's always cardboard tampons and panty liners. My mom would send me care packages full for other females because it doesn't get sent often enough, at least not where I was. Also, don't send any sort of chocolate or gummy stuff during the summer or early fall months. It's incredibly hot and those packages are just stuffed in shipping containers and things melt. My mom made the mistake and instead of gummy bears, I had a gummy blob. Pickles were also popular where I was at. I don't know why, but people would send individually wrapped pickles and I swear, everyone would lose their mind. Antiperspirant deodorant, the place I was at had a PX and a USO, but for some reason, all they had was deodorant that had no smell. It didn't work well. Socks. My mom would send me soft socks and I'd pass them out. People went nuts for them. Drink flavor packets. You can't drink the water over there, so they have cases of those 16-ounce plastic water bottles. I had a friend whose mom sent me boxes every few weeks and people would always buy them off me. Peach tea, orange crush, grape were popular flavors. Fruit punch was not. Last one, face wipes. Baby wipes help, but I always felt like the dirt was still there. Story 34 probably too late, but my brother-in-law is an Army Ranger and their Wi-Fi while deployed is about $100 a month each out of their own pockets. So my family started a small non-profit helping cover those fees for deployed servicemen and women. You can check it out here. Story 35. If you're sending something to your significant other and usually wear a certain scent perfume, a piece of cloth or something just lightly sprayed with that scent, or even if you use a certain shampoo or something, I remember closing my eyes and feeling like they were right there with me. The same works for whoever stayed home. And beef jerky. Story 36. American brand anything, Marlboro cigarettes, Maruchan noodle cups, Snickers, Reese's peanut butter cups, Slim Jim, Twizzlers, Oreos, Skittles, Tide laundry detergent, Fruity Pebbles, Nike sneakers, Pampers diapers, Ford F-150s, McDonald's Happy Meals, Boeing 737s, Gmail, Apple iPhones, Great Value dishware, Tylenol, heroin, Percocet, gasoline, Starbucks coffee, a pathway to Jesus, Burger King, a decent well-paying job Papa John's, a nice house in a nice neighborhood, Amazon free shipping, freedom, Social Security, heart disease, Toyota Camry made in the USA, at least, war on CNN, kick-ass Hollywood movies about war, politicians saying we should go to war, democracy. Women's rights, minority rights, veterans' rights, Law and Order SVU, drone assassinations, Seinfeld, the rule of law, the latest Jay-Z album, the Star-Spangled Banner sung by a 6-year-old YouTube star at the Super Bowl, Coca-Cola, the American dream and the American brand of life, 'cause that's what we were and still are fighting for, right? Story 37. When my brother was in Afghanistan, I sent him a Listerine bottle ID rinsed really well and filled with vodka ID, put blue food coloring in. I got the color to match perfectly too. Story 38. We got sent a kit to build our own catapult. We used it to hit other units' areas with rocks, marbles, golf balls, whatever we could get our hands on. We had a full firing position build with a range card reflecting the angle and range it needed to be set to depending on what other company we wanted to shoot at, and we would regularly attack people when we were bored. That was about the best thing we ever got in a package. Story 39. Just got off the USS Lincoln's 10-month deployment. Socks are always a big bonus for me. Pre-workout, jerky and more jerky, and non-perishable snacks that don't require a lot of prep. I like to have eye drops cause working around the jets without them sucks. A small personal flashlight or headlamp. Anything that can make someone feel home even if not. I had a small bath mat I would put on the floor in my berthing after I showered solely, so I could stand barefoot on something because rule number 1 on a ship is absolutely do not go into the showers or berthing barefoot.
Story 40. Licor, camouflage d'I7T, Listerine, etc. Of course, Crystal Light, Snack Jerky, Candy, Tray Mix, etc.
A fun pastime that's both small and lightweight when I send them now. I include a beginner's lockpick set and a practice lock, playing cards, caffeine coffee can be hard to come by, something specific to the dude if possible, for example if your soldier always slathers things in hot sauce back home, include some for him, and always one thing that doesn't belong. I normally include a small rock. Package it like it will be thrown onto an airplane, unloaded and put on a 20-ton truck and driven across roads that are mostly holes and giant rocks, placed aboard a leaky landing craft, unloaded in waist-deep marshy ground, tied to a mule and hauled up a mountain, then thrown hand-to-hand through 20 dudes before finally getting there. It's conceivable that that could be the trip it takes, even if it's going directly to him at an waterproof everything inside individually. If you thought shampoo getting all over your suitcase ruined your vacation, imagine that this is only package you've received for months and... Yup, everything has been marinating in hot sauce for the last 3 weeks. Make sure that you'll have to dull at least 3 knives to open it, and for God's sake address it properly. Google the appropriate service and how to send and address mail for it. Similarly, make sure the label is super clear, huge, letters that are legible from space and indestructible in transit. Also, home-cooked brownies and a short note never go out of style. When I was a kid I was given a project in Girl Scouts to sew blankets for soldiers out of old jeans. And I remember 6-year-old me thinking that soldiers must be poor homeless people that sleep on the ground. Story 41. In Iraq in 2003, if you send baked cookies, pack them in tiny marshmallows. My cousin sent me those and they lasted the 3-week transport time. Send choc chip in winter and peanut butter or oatmeal in the summer. Less melt. I also got Kotex as well. Why Kotex? For a guy you'd ask to put on your helmet. To cushion your head and keep sweat out of your eyes. It helped tremendously. Story 42. My brother was deployed and requested a shitload of Taco Bell hot sauce. He was a big fan of their food. I went to a local shop and asked how much for a box of the packets, thinking it would be easier for shipping and handling outrating for other stuff. Franchisee gave me a case of each type at no cost. I was really thankful, and frequent his store when I feel like fast food because of it. It cost a small fortune to mail it though. The food isn't always the best and having small reminders of what you enjoy is always nice. Story 43. It's honestly going to vary from person to person, depending on what they like. I just got back from Afghanistan a few months ago. Some of my favorites I received snacks. My family members asked me what my favorite snacks candies were and made sure I stayed supplied. Coming back to the camp after a long day and getting to eat your favorite snack is a game changer. Coffee brewer. We had our own barracks rooms, and my wife sent me a coffee brewer. If you do this, you need to make sure it can handle the higher voltage overseas, or send a step-down converter with it. Movies, game books. I'm a huge fan of movies, so my family would send tons of movies I could watch on my laptop. I'll watch just about anything once, so they just piled movies in and sent them. Also, books full of puzzles like Sudoku, crosswords, word searches, etc., Nintendo Switch. I like games, so my brother-in-law sent me a Switch for my birthday. Great way to pass the time if I had nothing to do. Homemade stuff. My wife would send me pictures and art that she and my daughter would draw. Never failed to make my day. Edit, you can't beat a nice set of sheets. My wife immediately sent me a nice set of sheets and a comforter. Super relaxing to be able to settle into a nice set of sheets at the end of the day. Story 44. I'm sure it depends where they are and what they're doing, but books have been a consistent request. I also sent a kitten calendar, but that was really more for me. Story 45. I used to send my buddy in Afghanistan Southern Comfort in a shampoo bottle. At the start I included soaps and stuff to make it look authentic. By the end he just got a box with 6 opaque shampoo bottles. Rinsing them out worked fine, but trying to clean the soap out by putting them in a dishwasher did not. He told me stories of pouring shots for his friends out there, and there being suds on top. Story 46. If you write letters, keep them real. Don't be like, oh we miss you yada yada. Talk to us like you would if we were hanging out. I write one of my friends and every letter starts with hey FORGODSSAKEJUSTGIVEUSSOMESOCKSANDTSAUC me bro is back in Afghanistan recently. We got a new relative. My grandpa found out his friend from his childhood is actually his sister. She just dropped off over 24 handmade hats. I thought it was sweet. Each one has a handwritten note too. My bro said that when they're not working that they can wear them, that it's actually pretty cold. They're low 40s during the day, just below freezing at night, so I'm excited to send them. Story 47. Well, as was recently made apparent to me, the military gives you an allotment in your pay for meals. Then when you get back on US soil they send you a letter that says that they overpaid you for 6 months and you shouldn't have gotten the allotment in the first place, and now you owe them $700. So I would say writing to your representatives about how unfair that is would likely go a lot further than most care packages. Story 48. Vodka in Propel bottles were always awesome to have one in a while to take edge off. Tobacco as mentioned above. Reese peanut butter cups were always cool to get. I always enjoyed personalized cards from schools, those always made me smile. Story 49. Already been said all over, but I want to respond with my own examples. Do send instant oatmeal tuna pouches, all flavors, baby wipes, socks, Pop-Tarts, hot sauces, playing cards and dice, also travel games. All kinds, jerky, dried fruit, Girl Scout cookies, tobacco for trade pictures and art, especially if it's something you make yourself. If you're organizing for a group, get some kids to make cards and draw pictures, books, all kinds, but focus on stuff that's easy to read. We're often exhausted by the work we do and the mental effort for Dostoevsky is a bit much. Random stuff. Seriously, some of my favorite gifts were just the most bizarre, random items my wife could find while wandering around the store, like a survival kit in a can for a soldier, on deployment, toiletries and healthcare items. Deodorant, nail clippers, Q-tips, Band-Aids, moleskin, Vaseline. Like, yeah, medics have a lot of this stuff, but you really can't have too much. Plastic Ziploc bags are also great. Do not send homemade or the equivalent dried foods. In fact, make sure that whatever you mail is something that will last for a long time. Care packages sometimes get held up, especially in war zones. It's great to receive a package, not so great if you find something rotten inside. Chocolate is another thing that is great to have, but only if it got to you before it melted. Story 50 something. I haven't seen anyone mention feminine hygiene products. A female friend of mine spent a year in Iraq and always asked for as many tampons and pads as we could send. Story 51. In basic, the only candy type thing that was allowed is cough drops. We used to use those as currency. The only downfall was that the drops with menthol would give you crazy diarrhea, and that's not a good thing with the constant physical training we did. Ricola is the way to go. Story 52. On top of what others have posted, I have 2 very small stuffed animals, like smaller than a wallet size, that I kept on me throughout my travels for good luck. I got each of them separately from some school kids in 2012 while overseas. The key here is small though, because we don't have a lot of room for large bullshit to hang on to. Story 53. 24-year combat vet. Troops always enjoy red vines, hard candy, energy drink mixes, protein powder, jerky, dried fruit, nuts, almonds, cashews, peanuts, peanut butter, any kind of hot sauce besides Tabasco, Sriracha, Tapatio, Cholula. The odder the hotter the better. Non-food items, sports, video game, computer, weapon shunting, truck shot rods, magazines, TV shows, card games like Cards Against Humanity. Baked goods never make it in good condition. Hope that helps. Story 54. Not a soldier. Friends with a few. God bless and thank you for the service. Silly string. It's inexpensive and can be very useful not only as a prank on the new recruits, but as an effective way to find trigger wires rigged to IEDs in abandoned doorways or any other fishy areas you're curious about when on the field. Story 55. Another, if you want some specifics that are not so well known, it's better if they are on a naval vessel. 1 small containers of spices. On my first deployment, some of the officers' wives sent a small pouch with plastic test tubes filled with salt, pepper, garlic salt, etc., to the entire unit, about 100. The food might not have been the best, but sometimes they run out of sauce, salt and pepper on the ship, so having some cool extra spices makes the food a little better. 2 moonlight playing cards. Depending on where you're on ship, some sleeping common area do not allow white lights on at any time during the day for night crew to be able to sleep. So bicycle playing cards has some low light of or something playing cards where a small red light which is allowed in these areas is enough to be able to see the card's 3 smokes dip. Even if they don't smoke or dip, someone they know does, this can be good for them to get certain favors done. I.e. taking someone's watch, laundry, haircuts, etc. for external hard drive. If the person you're sending to has a laptop or access to someone that does, a hard drive can save some movies music onto it so they can put it on their laptops phones. Story 56 best one I got was a ton of magazines. After I read one ID put it out on the loaner bench where people would drop books and mags. It also had jerky, hard candies, chocolates and gummies, mailed a few packs of playing cards, and a chicken hat mask. It's really comfort items and silly toys. Anything to help blow off some steam or that gives the opportunity to be goofy for a bit are great. I had a lot of fun running laps around the fob in my chicken hat. Story 57 darn tough brand socks. They are expensive but will last a lifetime. Find the best jerky you can find and send that, Sudoku puzzles, pictures to hang up, their favorite canned food, a heartfelt letter. My darling wife sent most of these things and he'll love her forever, not just because of that, but it is a cherished memory. Story 58 my husband wanted baby wipes and batteries. Ended up sharing the batteries with others. I forget what for, but he said they were one of the most useful things. Story 59 I always asked for socks and underwear. Also, their favorite name brand snack is a plus. If it's a spouse or so, spray a bit of your favorite perfume on the inside of the box. You'd be surprised how awesome being able to smell home is for those of us who have been away for a while. Story 60 I was a soldier in Vietnam back from 1969 to 1970. I joined solely to respond to this post, at the request of my grandson. When I was fighting, I remember that they needed was new shoes. Shoes get worn out fast. When you're always running under constant fire, the meals that were sent in care packages didn't always taste the most amazing. It wasn't the worst, but I have eaten things I like more. Story 61 FYI to anyone thinking of sending out to certain APOs in Iraq, there was a bulletin stating certain destinations were being restricted due to security reasons. Check with your post office to confirm before shipping. Story 62 not me but my mom used to do this for my dad and godfather when they were still in the Navy. She would send them quality toilet paper, good coffee, sugary cereal. My dad is a huge fan of honeycombs and for my godfather it's sugar crisps. Earplugs, they were mechanics. Books mostly for my dad. It would keep him awake for graveyard shifts. They would also send my mom grocery lists if ever they needed something. Story 63 I know it's not something you can get into a care package, but maybe some justice for soldiers who signed up to gain citizenship only to be deported or discharged by the current racist administration and the military knowingly complying. Those who signed up who were sent into combat poorly equipped under the command of officers who don't give in conflicts with no clear goals or end in sight simply because they wanted access to education and a better future, and full accountability for the warmongers and corporate profiteers who sell the lives of your countrymen in exchange for disgustingly cynical financial gain. Also socks, underwear, and condiments. Story 64 for me it was coffee and magazines. I had a whole setup with a hand grinder, pour-over station, mini fridge with cold brew, and French press. Would get most of the company filtering through at various times of the day. I am medical so was never on patrol or anything, but would sometimes be awake for 72 hours or more if got real outside the wire. So yeah, coffee, black as the heart of night and stronger than jet fuel. We can get the ulcers fixed when we come home. Story 65 so there's a brand called the General's Hot Sauce. Not only do they have some fairly hot options and cool looking bottles, but proceed support the military, and the company employs veterans. I see this as an absolute win for sending to people in the service.